In the search for love, we are taught to look for the loud signals, the grand gestures, the passionate declarations, the perfectly crafted text messages that arrive just when you need them. We are conditioned to search for the undeniable, the spectacular, the kind of proof that we can show to our friends as evidence that this connection is real. These loud signals are comforting because they are clear. They are the language of the ego, and they are easy to understand. But the soul does not shout. It whispers. And in this truth lies the source of so much of our modern heartbreak and confusion. We become so focused on listening for the shouts, the promises, the plans, the performances, that we fail to hear the quiet, subtle, and infinitely more truthful whispers of the soul. The most profound and reliable signs of a forming bond are not found in the conscious actions a man performs for you, but in the unconscious shifts his soul reveals without his ego's permission. It is in what his being reveals when he is not trying to show you anything at all. This reliance on loud signals is a dangerous game. A man can perform grand gestures without a deep connection. He can say the right words from a script he has learned. He can create a dazzling fireworks display of attention that is thrilling for a moment, but vanishes into smoke, leaving you in a deeper darkness than before. The ego is a masterful actor. The soul is not. This video is an invitation to learn a new language, the language of the whisper. It is an attunement to the quiet, subtle, and unfakeable signs that a true soul-level bond is quietly forming beneath the surface of your interactions. We will reveal the one unconscious behavior, a specific observable shift in his very presence, that is the most reliable indicator of this process. Drawing on the deep wisdom of Carl Jung and the concrete evidence of modern neuroscience, we will decode this signal for you. This is not about learning to be a detective in your relationships, anxiously searching for clues. It is about becoming a calm and confident observer, a woman so attuned to the truth of energy that she can no longer be fooled by the noise of performance. It is about learning to trust your own intuition, backed by a profound understanding of the human psyche. So what is this subtle, unconscious sign that speaks louder than any declaration? What is the whisper of the soul that reveals a deep bond is quietly forming? It is not a grand gesture. It is not a perfectly chosen word. It is not even a look of passionate, fiery desire. The most powerful, authentic, and unfakeable sign that a man's soul is beginning to connect with yours is the shift from a state of active performance into a state of profound, involuntary stillness. To understand the power of this shift, we must first understand the state that precedes it. In the early stages of any connection, a man is, consciously or unconsciously, in a state of performance. He is on a stage. His ego is the director of the play, and you are the audience he is trying to win over. He will tell his best stories. He will make his sharpest jokes. He will showcase his strengths, his ambitions, his competence. His body language is active. He may lean in, gesture with his hands, and actively hold a strong, focused eye contact. He is working to fill the space between you with an impressive and engaging energy. This is a normal and even healthy part of courtship. It is the ego's way of saying, "I am worthy of your attention." And then one day it happens. It may happen in the middle of a conversation, in the quiet of a car ride, or while simply sitting together on a couch. The performance stops. The conversation might hit a natural lull, a quiet pause. But instead of panicking to fill it with another story or another question, he doesn't. He simply allows the silence to be. You will notice a subtle but undeniable shift in his physiology. The tension in his shoulders, which he may have been holding without even realizing it, will release. His breathing, which may have been shallow and in his chest, will deepen and drop into his belly. The focused, almost predatory gaze of the pursuer will soften into a calm, steady, and open gaze of pure presence. The frantic, forward-moving energy of doing drains away, and it is replaced by the serene, grounded energy of simply being. It is absolutely crucial to distinguish this from the stillness of indifference. The man who is indifferent or has checked out will also become quiet, but his silence is a disconnect. His eyes will wander the room. He may reach for his phone. His body will be subtly angled away from you. That is the silence of absence. The stillness we are speaking of is the exact opposite. It is the stillness of profound presence. His focus is still entirely on you, but it is no longer an active, analytical focus. It is a soft, receptive, and all-encompassing presence. He is not distracted. He is completely and utterly absorbed in the quiet, peaceful space that exists with you. This is not a disconnect. It is the deepest form of connection. What does this profound shift signify? It is the moment that his unconscious mind and his nervous system have concluded their long, careful assessment of you and have rendered a verdict. And that verdict is, you are safe. The performance is no longer necessary because the ego's primary goal, to impress, to conquer, to win you over, has been replaced by the soul's deeper desire, to rest. The frantic doing was the work of his ego trying to secure a connection. The profound stillness is the result of his soul realizing it has already found one. It is an involuntary surrender. It is the ultimate unconscious complement. It is his entire being, on a level far deeper than conscious thought, telling you, with you, I can finally stop performing. With you, I can come home. This feeling of safety is not just a poetic idea. It is a measurable biological event that is taking place within him, and it is the true foundation of an irreplaceable bond. This involuntary shift into stillness is not just a romantic gesture. It is a profound biological event. To understand its significance, we must journey into the amazing world of our own nervous system. The science behind this phenomenon, primarily explained through Dr. Stephen Porges' Polyvagal theory, reveals why this quiet moment is a more powerful indicator of a deep bond than any passionate declaration. Think of your nervous system as having three primary states or gears that it can operate in. The first is the sympathetic state. This is our fight or flight system. It is the gear for mobilization, for action, for dealing with challenges. In the modern world, for most men, this is their default operating state. It is the energy of the workplace, of competition, of problem solving, of performance. It is a state of high alert, of tension, of being on. While necessary for survival and achievement, it is also incredibly draining. The second is the dorsal vagal state. This is an older, more primitive system. It is the gear of shutdown, of freeze, of dissociation. It is the energy of helplessness. When a threat is too overwhelming to fight or flee, the body shuts down to conserve energy. The stillness that comes from this state is the cold, empty, disconnected silence of indifference or trauma. This is not the stillness we are talking about. The third and most evolutionarily advanced state is the ventral vagal state. This is the gear of safety, of social engagement, of connection. It is a state of profound calm, but it is not a shutdown. It is a state of peaceful, joyful presence. It is the feeling you have when you are with someone you trust completely, when you can let your guard down, when you feel seen, safe, and connected. This is the biological signature of a sanctuary. Now, let us return to the man in your presence. His entire day has likely been a marathon run in the sympathetic state of fight or flight. He has been performing, competing, and holding his armor in place. His nervous system is craving, on a level deeper than conscious thought, a return to the restorative peace of the ventral vagal state. And then he enters your field. If your own energy is anxious, needy, or performative, your nervous system is also in a sympathetic state. His system reads this, and it knows it must keep its armor on. But if you have done the inner work, if you have cultivated your own peace, if you are a safe harbor, your nervous system is broadcasting a powerful signal of ventral vagal calm. Through the unconscious process of neuroception, his nervous system reads your signal of safety, and in response, like a key turning in a lock, it begins to shift gears. It moves out of the exhausting, high-alert sympathetic state, and it down-regulates into the calm, restorative, and deeply pleasurable ventral vagal state of rest and connect. The profound stillness you are witnessing in him is the visible evidence of this biological shift. The deepening of his breath, the softening of his gaze, the release of tension in his body. These are the signs that his entire biology has recognized you as a sanctuary. He is not just relaxing with you. His nervous system is using your regulated presence to heal and restore itself. This is the sanctuary effect, and it is one of the most powerful and addictive forces in human bonding. In a world that constantly drains him, You become the one person, the one place where he is recharged. The bond that is forming is not just emotional or mental, it is biological. His body is learning, on a cellular level, that your presence equals safety, peace, and restoration. And that is a bond his soul will recognize as home. While the language of neuroscience gives us a beautiful and concrete map of the biological processes at play, we must now travel even deeper into the symbolic language of the soul to understand the true Jungian meaning of this profound stillness. What is happening on an archetypal level when a man stops performing and simply is in your presence? The answer is that you are witnessing a sacred and rare event, the temporary surrender of his ego to his anima. In the kingdom of a man's psyche, the ego is the king. It is the conscious mind, the director, the part of him that is concerned with doing, with achieving, with controlling, with defining. The ego is the part of him that was telling the jokes, that was showcasing his competence, that was running the performance of courtship. The ego lives in the world of language, of logic, of predictable outcomes. The anima, however, is the hidden and often exiled ambassador of his soul. It is his feeling function, his bridge to the unconscious, his capacity for deep, soulful connection. The anima does not speak in the logical prose of the ego. It speaks in the poetic, symbolic language of feeling, of intuition, of presence. It is not concerned with doing, it is concerned with being. For many men in our culture, the king ego rules the kingdom with an iron fist. The ambassador Anima is kept locked away in a tower, for her wisdom is seen as too soft, too vulnerable, too uncontrollable for the harsh realities of the world. He relies on his logic, his strength, his performance to navigate his life. But then he enters your presence. A woman who is a true safe harbor, a woman whose own nervous system is calm and regulated. His ego, the ever-vigilant king, scans your kingdom and, for the first time, perceives no threat. It does not sense another ego trying to compete, to control, or to conquer. It senses a profound peace. And in that safety, for a rare and precious moment, the king agrees to lower the drawbridge. The stillness you witness in him is the physical manifestation of this surrender. It is the moment the king ego steps back from the throne and allows the ambassador Anima to step forward. He is not doing nothing. He is, for the first time, allowing the feeling, relating part of his soul to be present in the room with you. He has stopped trying to talk to you, ego to ego, and has allowed his soul to quietly listen to yours. This is why the connection in these moments feels so profound, so real, so different. It is because it is real. You are no longer relating to his social mask, his performance, or his representative. You are in the presence of his essence. The deep, quiet bond that is forming is not an agreement between two personalities. It is a resonance between two souls. This is the true foundation of an irreplaceable connection. It is a bond forged not in the noisy courtroom of the mind, but in the silent, sacred temple of the heart. At this point, you may be asking a very logical question. How can this quiet, passive stillness be a more powerful sign of a forming bond than a grand, active gesture? How can a moment of silence carry more weight than a bouquet of flowers, a passionate declaration, or a perfectly planned romantic evening? The answer lies in understanding the source from which these actions spring. Grand gestures are the language of the ego. They are often beautiful. They can be sincere. But they are, by their very nature, a performance. They are a conscious act of doing, designed to create a specific, desired effect. When a man buys you flowers or tells you something wonderful, his conscious mind, his persona is in control. He is choosing his words, planning his actions, and presenting a version of himself that he wants you to see. These actions, while lovely, can be performed with or without a true underlying soul-level connection. They are the tools of courtship. The shift into stillness is different. It is not an action. It is a reaction. It is an involuntary biological and psychological surrender. A man can choose to buy flowers. He can choose to write a romantic text. He cannot, however, choose to consciously shift his nervous system from a state of high alert into a state of profound ventral vagal peace. He cannot fake the deep physiological relaxation of his body in a moment of true safety. He cannot command his soul, his anima, to step forward while his ego steps back. The grand gesture is a voluntary act of the conscious mind. The shift into stillness is an involuntary confession of the unconscious soul. It is a truth that bypasses his conscious control and reveals the authentic state of his inner world in your presence. Think of the difference between fireworks and starlight. Grand gestures are the fireworks. They are spectacular, loud, and designed to create a wow moment. They light up the sky with a dazzling display, commanding your attention, but they are, by their very nature, fleeting. They burn out quickly, leaving behind only a trail of smoke and the memory of a brilliant spectacle. The profound stillness he finds with you is the starlight. It is quiet. It is constant. It is not a performance designed to impress you for a moment. It has been burning steadily in the heart of the universe for an eternity. You may not always notice it in the glare of the city lights, but in the deep quiet of the night, it is the most reliable and enduring light in the sky. One is a momentary spectacle. The other is a timeless truth. This is why this sign is so powerful. It is unfakeable. A man can learn to be a great performer, but he cannot learn to fake a state of profound inner peace. When you witness this shift in him, you are being given a rare gift, a direct look into the authentic state of his soul in response to yours. You are learning to stop being impressed by the fireworks and to start navigating by the steady, quiet light of the stars. This gives you a tool of profound discernment, a way to know on a level deeper than words that what is forming between you is real. So you have witnessed it. You have seen the unmistakable sign, the shift from active performance into profound involuntary stillness. You have recognized it not as indifference, but as a confession from his soul. Now, you arrive at the most critical and delicate moment of all. What do you do? Your response in this moment is the final piece of the puzzle. You can either nurture the sacred space that has just opened between you, or you can inadvertently shatter it. The conditioned part of you, the good girl, the performer, will panic in this silence. She will interpret the stillness as a problem to be solved. An inner voice, born of anxiety, will scream, "He's bored. I've lost him. I need to do something, say something, to fix this." This is the moment of your greatest test and your greatest power. The sovereign response is not about what you do, but about what you have the courage not to do. The sacred, silent space of connection that has opened between you is like a delicate, shimmering bubble. It is beautiful, precious, and fragile. The anxious impulse to speak is the sharp point of a needle. The moment you act from that anxiety, the bubble will pop and the magic will vanish. There are a few specific needles you must learn to recognize and resist. The first and most common is the question, "What are you thinking?" This question, while often well-intentioned, is a form of interrogation. It yanks him out of the deep, feeling ventral vagal state, the realm of the anima, and forces him back into his logical, analytical mind, the realm of the ego. In that moment, he is likely not thinking anything at all. He is feeling. He is feeling a profound sense of peace and connection. By demanding he translate that feeling into words, you break the very spell you wish to preserve. The second needle is the question, "Is everything okay?" This question projects your own anxiety onto the situation. It presumes that his silence must be a sign of a problem. You are, without meaning to, telling him that his state of quiet surrender is wrong. This makes the space feel unsafe, and his armor will immediately begin to come back up. The sovereign response is to master the art of doing nothing. It is to trust the silence. It is to match his stillness with your own. When you notice his breathing deepen, allow your own breathing to deepen with his. This is a powerful, non-verbal act of attunement, a silent way of saying, "I am here with you." If your eyes meet in the silence, do not look away nervously. Hold his gaze with a soft, gentle acceptance. Perhaps offer a small, almost imperceptible smile that communicates not a demand for a response, but a shared sense of peace. You must learn to see the silence not as an absence of words, but as a fullness of presence. It is a sacred space, and your role is not to fill it, but to hold it. By matching his stillness with your own, you are giving him the greatest gift a woman can give a man, the confirmation that he is safe. You are reinforcing the very feeling that his soul is so deeply craving. You are in that moment the living, breathing embodiment of the sanctuary, and by doing so you are allowing the quiet, invisible threads of a deep and lasting bond to be woven between you. We began this journey searching for a sign, a way to decode the mysteries of a man's heart. We have traveled from the noisy world of performance to the profound quiet of the nervous system, from the psychology of the ego to the deep, symbolic language of the anima. And we arrive at this final, liberating truth. The most powerful and reliable sign of a deep bond quietly forming is not in what a man does, but in what he stops doing. It is in his surrender of the performance, his release of the chase, his laying down of the armor. It is in the profound, involuntary stillness that says without words, "In your presence, my soul can rest." For a lifetime, we are taught to measure the strength of a connection by the quantity of its communication, the endless conversations, the constant text messages, the grand declarations. But the ultimate reframe is this: you will know a deep bond is truly forming, not when you have endless things to talk about, but when your shared silence feels more intimate, more nourishing, and more real than any conversation ever could. It is the moment two nervous systems recognize each other as home. It is the moment two souls, in the quiet of a shared presence, acknowledge each other without needing to speak. This is not the absence of communication. This is the highest form of it. It is the language of being. And once you learn to hear its beautiful, silent music, you will never again be fooled by the noise of a connection that is anything less.